All right, so today we're going to be talking about production value with set construction in studio. We have a studio here and just the value of what that can get you by creating whatever you want in a space like the studio. So yeah, why don't you kind of kick us off? Like why are we talking about set construction in the studio at all? Like why care?
So maybe it makes sense to talk about the complex ones first and then wind up in why would we do a set construction that's like a pretty standard
just like
space.
a room. Yeah.
So a while ago we did some work with Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, and we did this series of commercials, and we wanted to do a really cool attention grabbing thing. So we, and I say the royal we, that's Luke, built
We got to get him a shirt that says the royal we.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
Hannah or Alexis, can one of you make that? That'd be so
the
awesome.
royal we. So we built this set. He built this set that was a living room, but there was this break in reality. We kind of wanted to do like a, insurance commercial kind of thing where something's happening and then suddenly crazy things happen in the background. In this case, the walls opened up, like rolled away.
To reveal that we're in a casino.
Right.
Yeah.
Revealing the casino floor behind them, so behind a living room or whatever.
Which we did think about, can we shoot this at the casino? Like, would it be useful to shoot it at the casino? Because that, you want to explore all options when you're producing.
Yeah, and that wasn't going to be good because we had a very limited period of time.
Yeah, the answer was no.
And then like building things in this, because we still would have needed the walls.
Right. Yeah, and it was like 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. or something that we would be able to shoot in there.
In the casino.
Yeah.
So
2 a.m.
So we built the walls and just wheeled them away, revealing the green screen, and then did compositing. But that set needed to be built. We needed walls on wheels. And then the other thing about that one, needing to build the set, was
that one was really cool.
We had
11
scripts to shoot. But I had a complicated grid of like, here's the actors. They're not all in the same scenes. Here are we wanted variety.
Yeah, we had like 11 scripts to shoot, long and shorts. And then how many actors aside from us? 4 or 6?
I think like 6.
So 6, and then it was you, me, and...
Yeah, so like 10 actors.
Yeah, you, me, and Jeff. And then how many scenes did we have? 3?
All the scripts were different. We had all different settings.
They're all different settings.
Or different scenes, but
variations of 3 settings.
Yeah, so we had like 3 kitchens.
Yeah.
Right? Something like that. Like 3 kitchens, 3 living rooms.
There's a kitchen table, there was a countertop. Yeah, living room that was arranged differently. Oh, there was the
rec room.
The rec room, yeah.
The rec room, kind of like fireplace, wood room,
So they had to be modular.
Right. Yeah. But they weren't, well, I think maybe we did achieve keeping the kitchen scenes all shot on the same day.
Yeah.
But basically we had to rip the walls.
The royal we again.
Yeah. The royal we over there. We had to rip the walls off the set.
Yeah. In
between the scenes. So it was that 1/8-inch panel board that was just like Brad nailed up onto the frames, rip those down, and then re-skin them basically to make a different scene.
And moving doors and windows around from the left side to the right side, and even floor we had to roll out, right? We had different like linoleum style floor, or fake wood floor that we could roll out.
Yeah. So we shot.
That was cool.
Something like.
We did have to go back at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we shot something like 4 different setups per day.
Yeah.
Which is a lot, like people, if they're not used to it, like that's a lot. But that gets to the point of the set, why we're talking about sets. Like, I think that's a thing that you can do with sets. Right. If we had to go to different locations, that'd be impossible. You could do about 1 a day, maybe 2, but not at that scale and what we were doing.
And that effect would require, huge houses. Like
Yeah.
I think people don't realize when they see stuff on TV, they see like a room, they see a living room, a bathroom, whatever. If they start to analyze that space, they're like, it doesn't make sense that a bathtub would be in the middle of this
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably a set, like the other shoot that we had,
Yeah.
where we had the bathtub in the middle of the bathroom.
Yeah.
We would not be able to find that specifically anywhere without, you know, going to the bougiest house, the biggest house that had all the space for filming and lights and all that stuff.
Yeah. So then, I don't remember if that one was first. I think that was first, and then we did. So then the next one was even more of a special effect. So that one, the walls were pulling away.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm thinking of the music video for Kelly Jackson.
Right, which had the whole set hinged. So we had a floor, and then we had a wall, and we could actually set deck the floor and wall for a couple different scenes, 3 different scenes in fact. And that whole thing hinged on, I think it was some pulleys, right?
So the pulleys were holding it up to give it so that it just wouldn't fall.
Okay.
Luke built he made his own hinge system
Mm-hmm.
that was capable of supporting I don't know how big it was, 12 feet wide by 12 feet tall or something, 11 feet wide by 12 feet tall, whole wall and floor and set. So he built like a hinge out of, I think a pipe. I think he used like pipe and like, whatever, he knows the details.
Yeah.
But, so that we could tip this whole thing backward, because the music video was about like abuse and instability, right? And just kind of like we wanted to portray the world shattering that happens when somebody's in one of these situations,
Right.
and a music video, like you often want to do something kind of crazy, kind of out there, like what can we do that's visually engaging?
Right, your creative shtick. You can see, some of the different scenes. It looks like, she's in a room, looks like a real room. Looks like a military office. And the outside, I think the outside is like the coolest. Outside the bar. Look at these two sketchy guys. Was this Cheney?
Yeah.
Cheney and Rob. But then things start to happen. The world gets flipped upside down. So also, sorry, this is tough material. It's like domestic abuse.
Yeah.
We deal a lot with these types of things and telling stories and helping communicate awareness and things. So sometimes we're a little callous, or I'm a little callous in sharing it and forgetting that, it's emotionally impactful. But anyway, you can see that the world is flipping over, and the scene has kind of fallen over onto them. You see all the items that have flipped over. So
Yeah, I think and stuff has already fallen at that point
Yeah.
in that video there. Yeah.
And then actually this is like returning. So now the whole scene is coming back. It's interesting because there's a lot going on, but you don't get as much of the effect as I, would have hoped.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I would have done more there is, but I mean we had to be watching out for safety.
Yeah.
Just for actors, because they were actually falling back into that door,
Right.
and then the props were actually falling from where they were set onto the back wall. So we had to make sure that they were not going to get hurt or something. But if we did it again, I would have, same thing. Try to find some ways to emphasize more of that movement.
Right.
Maybe getting a camera to the side a little bit more.
Yeah.
We did a little bit of that, but
You'd never be able to do anything like that on set or on location anywhere.
exactly. So that's the effect of that. So I don't know if there's another example in between example, but I could start.
Do we have an example of the sewer scene? Do you know where I could find that? We helped this creative director shoot a really... Oh, the studio reel? Do you know where that is?
on our YouTube page. If you look for Studio Reel, I think you might find it there. Yeah, that was a really cool one. We shot. Somebody was doing an indie film, and they were. What were they going to do? They wanted to fundraise it, kickstart it, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's some of the things that we've done in our studio. That's what it looks like on the inside. There's nothing there, but you can just do cool things in a studio. That's kind of like the benefit of it. You can be in many spaces, and I was going to mention some of these like simplistic shots, like
yeah, these are great.
That those aren't like fully set builds, but it gives you the effect of being in another space. Those look like different rooms
At different times of day.
and different times of day, and those are just like overhead shots of props, from a shot from above.
Yeah.
That was really cool shoot. Like a simplistic set that doesn't have much of anything, but it gives you a little bit more feel, a little bit more, just to the story.
How do you show software?
Yeah.
And make it personal and authentic. We try to show that.
Yeah, and we don't have to be in an actual office space. It's like,
Right.
oh, there's a desk, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. The person in the desk, and
So then again, the Puppet movie, which you can find on Amazon, which is unfinished, but it's a delight. There's a lot of good content. All this done in studio. This was one of the cooler ones too, like all the screens
yeah,
and those things in the background. Another great job by We.
yeah. Well, in this set, is a lot about the screens. They wanted a sports center kind of feel, and wanted it to, and
This is
we were
exceptional.
able to come up with that. Just as like, all right, well, what do we do? Get some TVs, turn them on their sides. I think we rented some rigging to hold them up.
And that desk,
We rented that desk.
like a $3,000 desk.
That's a very expensive desk, but you can rent yourself a news desk for the low price of about $3,000. That's just a virtual set done against a green screen. Oh yeah, there's a little
Hey, there's Luke right there.
DIY composite. There's the sewer scene you're talking about.
Yeah, this was really cool.
There's another one of those minimalistic sets. There's nothing there. There's just a few ropes, but it's like, oh, it's boxing.
Yeah.
So,
And then this one's cool, to do some car stuff for the Silver Medal AF award. Interviews, but then you throw GAC everywhere and mirrors and lights. And then this was the sports casting one. Year 2 was like an award show. So again, you can kind of see what was done there. The number 4 and the WP and X4 are graphics.
yeah.
Back in the film days. This is a fun one too with Keen. So some Death Star graphics. Again, just minimalism. The background's black, but then we have these light bulbs hanging everywhere.
This is one of those where hopefully you're watching this podcast with a video in front of you, because if you're not,
you're not,
just hearing a lot of like,
you're missing.
This here is cool.
You're missing thick Ryan here, a little thicker.
This is, and that's another one of those very minimalistic sets where, it's just a setting, doesn't necessarily fill in the background, but it's like, oh, it's a living room.
Yeah.
Well, there's just the psyche behind that woman sitting on a couch with a table next to her, but you get the idea. He's in a bathroom. He's, like trimming his beard in the mirror there.
Yeah, this is another fun one. It's the white psych, but then some chairs, a desk. This is for training material. All of the silly nonsense.
Yeah. So that's cool. Very much recommend checking out that studio reel. That's really cool. Just kind of a quick example of like, here's all the things you can do in a studio. Because I think sometimes people are like, what do you do at the studio?
Right.
I don't know that I have a studio shoot. Perfect segue into the most recent set building shoot we did. Was this, we were filming with dogs.
Yeah.
And we needed a bathroom, a living room, and then somewhere that we could, get a black background and get like a product shot, some photography. And I did a little bit of looking, and after a brief amount of searching and looking, I decided that we should just go ahead and build the set. Again, the royal we building the set, because we had to move really fast. And as I was looking at Airbnb and VRBO, different kinds of options like that, this particular shoot, we were going to bring 4 dogs and 20, 25 people in. And, that would cause a lot of mess and be a lot to manage on location. Not to mention the fact that getting the shots that you want was going to be a challenge. Because if you think about how big your bathroom is, it's
right.
not very big.
Right. Even a big bougie house, like there'd be so much stuff to contend with.
Yeah,
it just
so
didn't make sense.
We had to feature a dog in this tub, getting this dog shampoo, getting washed, and we decided in the end, like, let's just build this out. Couple walls, some floor, and then not everything needed to work. We didn't need a working toilet and sink. We did need to figure out water in the tub, so Luke's ingenuity there helped figure that out. But then that gave us the ability to stand back, way back where we wanted on this shot. We're shooting, I don't know what the estimate would be, 20, 25 feet away from the back wall, to get this great shot that you could not achieve in a real space. And it's like either the tub is in the middle of the room, or if the tub was back in a corner somewhere, it's just a bathroom. It's just a living room. But the shots we were able to get, because we could be in the studio and control all the variables and then move really fast, have a ton of crew there, move around.
We're able to do a lot of different things in studio that you might not think is necessarily in studio. And it's great during winter too, because then, nobody has to go anywhere. You don't have to be outside. You don't have to be cold. You can be comfortable. You can be inside. But you can tell a very specific story because of the capability that you have.
If you don't have to be specific, you can get away with shooting on location more. If you have to have a shot in a particular angle or a particular shot scale or whatever, you're always going to be better off in studio. People see like shows and assume that they're shot on location, and some of the modern shows are, but they'll also combine that with like studio stuff where
most of the time you're inside, you're going to be in studio.
It's like there's no shot from that angle from that side of the room, because like you can't get a camera right there without having no wall right there.
So to bring it all kind of home, we're talking about production value with set construction in studio. You can just get a look that you can't get with a lot more money on location with a lot more production. It just works a lot better in studio. So that should be an option when you're considering how to produce whatever your content is. And documentary is pretty easy to do, but also the narrative style creative.
And even in documentary, there are times where you want to, even those examples that we showed that were just pretty simple, just a couch and an end table. It's like, that's a set. That's a space.
That's it. So consider a set. You can do it better. I don't know. That's it. That's the end.